Hello there, I'm Big Alias. Wow, I was wondering how loud I was going to go with that intro, and apparently I went to space and Mars and every universe in between. This is SpiderMan, and right now I guess I'm just standing on top of a rooftop because I'm still trying to figure out how to record stuff on the PS4. I want to talk about this video game experience sense that you see before you. And I'm very excited about this because, gaming season has been huge this year, dude. We've already had Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which I liked a lot. I thought was an incredible video game. And this game was kind of, I'm more of an Xbox gamer myself, so a lot of people were talking about this. I do have a PS4, or I wouldn't have got this gameplay, of which, by the way, I tried to make as action-packed as possible, and I tried to show off a few features in it too. But anyway, yeah, so I wanted to know if it was as good as people say. I really did. A lot of people have been saying some very good stuff about this, and if it's good, then there's another good game chalked up for gaming season, because obviously Black Ops 4 and Battlefield 5 are going to be terrible, but we've still got Red Dead Redemption 2 to come, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider is great, but is this great as well? Is this another... Trying to be as loud and bombastic as possible. Is this another phenomenal game for the gaming season of 2018? Yes! I'm so happy to say that this game is fucking great, man. I mean, honestly, you weren't lying, guys. You did, seriously, people are not lying about this game. This game is fun as hell. First thing you're going to notice is that it is a delightful looking game. Obviously, I wouldn't say it's as good looking as Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but it's it's one of I think one of the best looking games of all time, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And this is an open world game. However, as open world games go, it is a beautiful looking game, and I think the representation of the city is perfect. I honestly can't think of, I really can't think of a step up from this point on. I really do think that this is the best that this setting's ever looked. And that being said, despite the fact that you're watching combat right now, swooping through the city is extremely fun. It's an incredibly fun experience going through the city, and it just, one thing I forgot to mention at the start of this video, I forgot to suck the penis of Insomniac Games, which I do want to do because they did two games that I think are utterly tremendous. They did Sunset Overdrive, which is one of my favorite Xbox One games, and Ratchet & Clank, which I think is probably the best kids game ever made. It's a phenomenal game. So obviously when they said that Insomniac Games were going to be tied to this, that gets my juices flowing, but not in a gay weird way. Yeah, man, that got me really excited. I mean, Insomniac Games, they are great at making games, and they do tend to make things feel very intuitive, and everything kind of just makes sense. The progression tends to be good in their games, and just the way that the way that you move around and the way that you progress and the way everything flows is always very good in their games. And this is not an exception. The way that you move through the city does feel great. It does feel intuitive. The way that you use your webs, yes, it doesn't stick to everything, which is a good thing because a video game, it doesn't have to be realistic. It feels great. Honestly, swooping through the city is very exhilarating, to use a buzzword. And as you can see, I'm using a very cool skin. I finished the game. My suit is at my dude or whatever is at level 44. Which means I've unlocked a fair few skins, and this is a very cool looking one that's designed for combat. Very slow moving, but very powerful. And you upgrade your character over time. And the progression system is very good. You can go through gadgets by gadgets. I haven't really delved too much into that, to be honest. You have a skill tree, but the skill tree doesn't feel overwhelming. It feels just right. As I said, you level and you unlock skins, and you unlock them through getting tokens for doing things like collecting backpacks, solving random crimes in the street, which range from beating up dudes to chasing cars and stuff like that. And there are arguments that it's slightly repetitive, which is it's a fairly valid argument. It's repetitive, but the repetitivism, I don't mind it. It's fun. It's like saying eating too much chocolate is repetitive. Yeah, I get bored of the chewing motion. As a kid, I couldn't eat too much beef because I just got bored of chewing, which is genuinely true. That makes me sound so lazy. It's hugely accurate. But yeah, man, I mean, it is slightly repetitive at times, but you just don't give a shit because, as you can see here, as you may be able to tell from my stupendous combat skills, the combat in this game is phenomenal. It is really, honestly, I would say even better than the Arkham games. It's like they've taken the Arkham idea of doing things, which I'll agree is the grandfather of this combat system. But because of the abilities that they've given you and the abilities that you sort of get by virtue of being Spider-Man, you can do so much more. And one of my favorite things is you can, if you press circle, you can stick against the wall and press X and fly back and hit them once you're stuck on the wall in a Keanu Reeves, whoa, I know kung fu dude kind of way. You can see me zipping around, sticking my web slinger to people, and then using that to zip myself onto them. There are finisher moves. There's a focus bar which builds up and gives you either the ability to regain the amount of health that you have in your focus bar, or use that to perform a finisher move. You may have also noticed me slinging things around. They throw grenades at you sometimes, which you can spin around and fling back at them, or you can pull down big structures, or as you can see, you can web swing people. It's very diverse, and yes, it is the same thing, and yes, the only attack button is square, but I've sunk probably about 25 to 30 hours into this game, and I still love the combat. I still have a great time with the combat. The missions themselves are very diverse. You're basically just using all of the abilities that you have to take out a series of enemies, but again, it just feels fun. I'm not a big fan of the Mary Jane stealthy stuff, but what are you going to do about that? Also, there's a new character. I don't want to give too much away about him. His name is Miles, and I need to see him in the movies. He is a great fucking character. The character development in this game is fantastic, and there are a couple of cutscenes in there which are just phenomenal. And you're about to see me flying through the city. So this game is tremendous. I do want to say that this game is a fantastic game. I would recommend it. Once you're done, there's plenty to do, plenty of things to do around the city. You can level your character. It does take a fairly long time to get through the story, and that's great. I think I spent more time with this than I did with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. But I will say this. Everything here is perfected. Nothing here... And I don't want... excuse me. I'm not being negative about the game. If you listen on, you'll know that I actually think this is a good thing. Nothing here is new. I wouldn't say that anything that you see here is new. Everything is, for lack of a better term, very, very old school. The movement system is very reminiscent of Prototype, which I know was reminiscent of Spider-Man. The world we've seen many times before. The gameplay itself is actually kind of similar to... A lot of people are saying, it's a remaster of Spider-Man 2, which it kind of is. There's a lot here that we've already seen before. It's just everything is perfected. The combat system is the combat system from Arkham, the Arkham games, but it's perfected and nuanced and made better. Now, what I love about this is that this is the old style form of gaming, and it makes me so happy that this game is selling as well as it is, because it proves that there is a market for this style of game. The no bullshit game, the no horrible grisly bits, it's like bacon without the fat. That's a good analogy. It's like bacon without fat. It's like mince without gristle. It's what you want from a game. It's just you're in a world, there's stuff to collect, there's things to do, there's a badass story, the combat's great, the movement's fantastic. It's probably the best movement I've honestly played in a game. It just feels great. The progression's great, and that is how gaming used to be. And I don't want to preach. I don't want to turn this review into a preach. I just want to say that is great. The way that this game works, and look how beautiful it is, man. The way that this game works, though, is great, and it's reminiscent of how games were. And if you're enjoying this game, then you should know that this is how games used to be. You used to be given an engine, a world, and you just have a great time in it, and that's it. There's no faffing around. Of course, there's going to be DLC in this game. By the way, this is the awesome photo mode. Of course, there's going to be DLC in this game, but it's just going to give us more story, more things to do. And I can tell you they have not stripped story out of this game. They've stripped nothing out of this game. It is what it should be, and I love that. And I'm so glad that it's doing well. Absolutely go out and buy this game and tell the publishers that what we want is a true thoroughbred gaming experience. None of this Black Ops stripping things out and then adding a fad game type. None of this just do the bare minimum and just put loot boxes in it to make extra money. This is true gaming, and I love it. It is a fantastic game. You have a great time with it from start to finish. So if you're wondering if it's worth the hype, I would definitely say yes. And I'm going to end on a selfie, and I'm going to put it on Instagram and be pretentious. So let me know what you think, and I will see you later.